Hello, welcome back. Gia Dave, August, Falcha Rash, Guji, and Hazel Jane Tarot. So today we are here to talk about my June favourites. I love this time at the start of the month when all everybody's favourites videos start popping up. I really enjoy watching them. And you might have noticed, if you're a subscriber to my channel, that this is the first video you've seen since I filmed my May favourites. So I'm sorry I haven't been making as many videos recently. Life has just been getting a bit busy with other things, but I haven't disappeared, and I will be popping in and out, hopefully getting a few more videos made over the summer months. So here we are. June, summer has begun properly, and although the weather in Northern Ireland, you wouldn't really think so. The card I pulled this month from the Mother's Wisdom Oracle, or the Mother's Wisdom deck, is Lake. And this has been quite an appropriate card for this month. The message in the book is to do with sort of letting go, trying not to get too caught up in things, trying to just let things flow. And June was a month of big transitions for my family. My daughter, who is 4, has just finished nursery school or kindergarten, and there was a graduation for that, and lots of things ending as we come into June. Yeah, so that has been helpful advice. Also, this has been a month for me where I have got back into swimming for the first time in years. I've been going just once a week to the swimming pool, but trying to get myself back into the way of it. I love being in the water, and I've really enjoyed that. So while that's not what the book's about, it has been an oddly apt image for what I've been doing in the month of June. So that, as you might know if you've watched my favourites before, I pick a card every month from the Mother's Wisdom deck. I don't always share it, but that's one of my really consistent practices with the oracle cards, is to use the Mother's Wisdom deck, and I keep that on display throughout the month. So that was the card I pulled for June. In terms of what you're looking at here, just by the way, this is a little, so you can see it's still in the plastic, greeting card from Wendy Andrew is the artist. And I picked this up when I was in Glastonbury last year. I have one for each of the Sabbats, and so this is the one for the summer solstice. And so I just changed that out to have it on display in my home, and I changed that out each at each Sabbat or each kind of turn of the wheel. So I just thought I'd leave it there for a wee bit of decoration while we're chatting today. Okay, so favourites this month. Maybe I'll start with a quick whiz through music. So as some of you know, if you've been watching my channel before, I'm a big fan of Leslie Odom Jr., and this album got pulled out again this month. It sort of just lives in my car. I was doing quite a bit of driving this month, unfortunately, given the cost of petrol at the moment. But anyway, and I really enjoyed listening to this album again. This man's voice is just, it's spectacular. He's one of the most amazing singers that I've heard that's currently recording. He's a beautiful singer, and one of my favourites on this album is Remember Black, which is just a tour de force performance of all different genres of music. So yeah, if you haven't listened to Leslie Odom Jr., go check him out. The album is Mr. And if you're familiar with that name, but you can't think why, it's because he played Aaron Burr in Hamilton, which is sort of how I discovered him in the TV filmed version of the original cast of Hamilton. So this also got a listen this month. When you've got a long journey, listening to like the full soundtrack of Hamilton is a very enjoyable way to pass the time. And yes, my 4-year-old singing "I'm Not Throwing Away My Shot" is hilarious. So so that was big listen this month. I also was listening to this guy, Niall McNamee, who is an Irish singer-songwriter who I saw play a gig a couple months ago, and he's just a lovely voice. So I listened to that a few times, and that put me in the humour to listen to Gordon Lightfoot, who is a singer from like my dad's era, and I borrowed an album to listen to, and I listened to it a couple of times. I don't have it here anymore because I gave it back, but it had The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald was the second track on that album, which is a song that I was really familiar with of Gordon Lightfoot's. He has a beautiful voice, Didn't love all the style of all the songs on the album, but there were a couple of songs that I remembered from being a kid, from listening to my dad playing them, and really enjoyed that. Also listened a few times through to Josh Pike's album Only Sparrows. Josh Pike is an Australian singer-songwriter. I absolutely love him. His music, he uses really multi-layered harmonies. And this Only Sparrows, I think, was his third album. It's not recent anyway, but that was the one that I was listening to this month. And another older album that I listened to quite a lot this month is this album by a band called Farriers. Now, Farriers are not recording anymore, which is such a shame because they were just fantastic. So this album is called Years Ago in Our Backyard. I don't know if it's available still to stream. I'll have a look online after I've recorded this and see if I can find a link to something on YouTube of theirs. But this was recorded in 2012. They're a band that's local to, they're a Northern Irish band, and they play kind of Americana, bluegrass inspired, sort of that kind of music. Like there's a fiddle and guitars and close vocal harmonies between a male and female singer, and they're just were a great band. I saw them live back when they were still a band, but I pulled this album out, and there's a song on this called San Remo, which is just fantastic, about traveling around Australia, I think. So yeah, they're a great band. It's a shame they're not still recording, but if you can find Farriers online, a Northern Irish band, give them a listen because they're really good. Okay, so let's get into some decks. So I hadn't been buying many decks for a while. Well, when I say I hadn't been buying many, let me see, where's my list? It's just here to the side of me, of how many I did buy in this year so far. So, sorry, I should have looked this up beforehand. So this year, in 2022, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've had 10 new decks in the first half of 2022. And some of those, 3 of those were trades and 1 I had pre-ordered the previous year. So, you know, I haven't been buying a huge amount of decks. So this was a trade that I did this month, and it was a trade with Sandra from The Whispering Well. So if you're watching, Sandra, hi. It was lovely to be able to do a trade with somebody I already knew. I met Sandra last year at the UK Tarot meetup in Glastonbury, and she is a lovely person. So if you haven't been watching her channel, go check out The Whispering Well. I'll try to remember to link it below. I'm bad at remembering to link things below. So I had my eye on this. I don't have any Chula Marchetti decks, or I didn't have, and this was, of all his, the one that I sort of liked the look of the most, when I'd seen other people with it. And when I saw that, I had posted, I think, that I was interested in it, and Sandra contacted me. I can't remember what way round it went, but well, anyway, I had, what did I send Sandra to trade for this? I can't even remember. Anyway, so some of the art in this I absolutely love. Like this Empress card is gorgeous. I think this deck is kind of masculine, if that makes sense. My partner, when I showed him this, thought this was a really cool deck. He liked the art style of this deck. I haven't used it yet. As you can see, it's still totally in order. So it's very colourful, which I like. I quite like the black borders, and I like the black edging as well. The black matte edging is really cool. I don't love every single image, and I haven't, spent enough time with it as a reading deck to really know how it reads, but it's very Rider-Waite-Smith inspired, and it is really clear, I think. I like the sort of colour toning through the minor arcana, where there's sort of similar shades of colour, and the aces, are very distinctive with the colour. Like, I mean, that's lovely. I love the fish and everything. Sort of Atlantis under the whirl, under the sea, and the style of these cups in every image. Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. It's a really nice deck. I'm glad I got it. I'm really glad I was able to trade for it, and I will use it at some point. I just haven't I haven't shuffled it at all yet. So yeah, it's very, It's a very attractive deck, and I feel like I could use this to read for anybody, and they would recognize it as a tarot deck. Do you know what I mean? Like it's enough like the Rider-Waite that the sort of style of it and the borders and everything. It's just, yeah, I like it a lot. So that was nice to get that in a trade. So that is, yeah, just waiting for me to get ready to use it. So that's the, sorry if I didn't say, the Tarot Grand Lux by Ciro Marchetti, just in case there's somebody listening and not watching. Okay, I also bought a new deck in a shop. I was in Derry. There's a shop called The Sacred Tree, which is a lovely little sort of, you know, esoteric shop, like with the usual crystals and incense and decks and things in it. And I just wanted to get something because I was in the shop. So I got the Sacred Self-Care Oracle by Jill Pyle, and it's illustrated by Tatiana Vendenkina. Now, I have had a deck like this once before, a self-care deck, you know, with little messages of things to actually go and do. And I didn't really get on that well with it. But I thought it would be, and I passed it on, but I thought it would be interesting to give it another try because I liked some of the messages in this one and I like the art style. So, dream journal, you know, which reminds me, I had a really crazy dream last night that I haven't journaled about yet. Music. So there's some nice messages of things that are achievable that you could do for your self-care on a given day. You know, like alone time, use your hands, family, clear your energy field, read, clean your space, abundance planning. Now, I have only pulled a couple of cards from this deck so far. The first one I got was go for a walk, which I didn't do because I'm bad at taking good advice. And the other was abundance planning, which again didn't really feel very necessary right at this moment. Although I suppose with everything that's happening financially at the minute and with costs of things going up, doing a bit of abundance planning is no bad thing for anyone. So yeah, I haven't felt that the cards I've pulled have very strongly resonated with what I felt I needed in the moment when I have started to use this deck. And again, I don't know if it's something that is more like a daily pull, like, okay, drink tea, today I'm going to drink tea. Or if it's like, pick something to be a focus for a week. So if anybody else has this deck and has been using it or using similar kinds of decks, like with a very clear, like, go and do the thing instruction on it, like rest, spend time with friends, how you've used those decks, I'd be really interested to know in the comments below. So yeah, this is a really interesting one. I haven't, as I say, used it that much yet, but I've used it a bit, and I think it's going to be an interesting one to work with. I don't have anything else exactly like this, so that's nice. I also bought a couple of decks in online, you know, Facebook buy sell trade groups, which if you're trying to cut down on your deck buying, you should not go on to Facebook buy sell trade groups because you'll see something for sale and you'll be like, and I ended up buying the Superlanarus Tarot. Now, the Superlanarus Tarot is one that I remember when it was coming out. I remembered liking the look of it at the time, but not buying it because of the whole sort of cost, shipping from America, all that kind of stuff. And I saw this for sale, and it was Jackie Zivna, who is also in our tarot community on YouTube. So I'll try to link her channel below. She's an Irish tarot reader. And she and I sort of connected then when I saw that she'd advertised this deck for sale, and I bought it from her. So I'll try to do a proper review walkthrough kind of thing of this deck. But one of the weird things with it is the creator's name isn't anywhere on the box. It's not in the little booklet. It's not anywhere the name of the person who made this deck or who the artist was. So I don't know. It was maybe around at the time when it was first released, but I don't have that information now. But the Superlanarus Tarot, it looks to me like a sort of photo collage deck. It is edged in this kind of metallic pink. It's hard to see in the light there. It's like a peachy pinky color. And it's gorgeous and it reads really well. So spoiler alert for the future review, I really like this deck. And I mean, it's no surprise really, it fits right into the genre of decks that I like the most, which is it's contemporary, it's based on the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's very colourful, it has a diverse cast of characters or people depicted within it. It has its own spin on a few cards, like here the Two of Cups is like kind of self-love, looking at yourself in the mirror, which is really nice. And yeah, it's visually gorgeous when you lay the cards out beside each other. It's really nice. It tells a nice story. And when we do these sorts of flip throughs, I guess you don't really see that effect. Backs are gorgeous. And it's like this really nice matte cardstock that's still slippy enough to riffle shuffle pretty well. Although I do have to be careful because I'm a bit rough. And I did kind of bend the moon card, but I think I flattened it out again. So the Superlanarus Tarot is one that I got in a sort of second hand in the buy sell trade group. So thanks Jackie for selling me that if you're watching. And I've been really enjoying it. So that kind of segues into the decks I've been working with in June. And all of the decks I've worked with, this sort of second half of June I was working with the Superlanarus Tarot anytime I did like a reading. And these days I tend to read more in response to particular situations. So if something happens or something arises, something I'm concerned about or thinking about, I might pull a few cards for that specific concern. I might just freestyle pull 3 cards and see what the message is, or I might make up a spread that is pertaining to my specific situation, or indeed find a spread that seems to speak to my specific situation and read, you know, for those positions. So that means like in a month, I might only be doing 2 or 3 tarot readings the whole month that are like kind of proper sit down, really think about it readings. And in the latter part of the month, the Superlanarus Tarot is the deck I have been using for that. Earlier in the month, I was more using the Victorian Romantic Tarot, which I know I showed last month as well. I got the Victorian Romantic back in April when it came out. And again, this was one that I had pre-ordered from last year. So I hadn't been too sure when I got it what I was going to make of the Victorian Romantic Tarot, whether it was going to be a good reader for me. It's a great reader. I really like working with this deck. The cardstock is just like gorgeous. I love that sound. And it's got, you know, the art is beautiful and it just tells a really good narrative. And yeah, I worked with it a few times earlier in the month, and it's just been sitting somewhere really close to hand, so I can pull on it if I need to. But yes, it's beautiful, and I like it. I like it more again in combination rather than just one card. Like I don't find that card on its own particularly beautiful, for example. But when you lay out a couple of cards together, there's a real sense of narrative, and the paintings or the etchings that have been chosen communicate the meanings of the tarot cards really clearly to me. So I really enjoy working with this one. And it is such a luxurious deck as well. Like it's nice. I'm glad I like it as much as I do, because you know the Baba Studios decks are not cheap. So that is the Victorian Romantic Tarot by Baba Studios that I used quite a lot this month. And then the other deck that I used, so the only other sort of daily card pull that I've been doing has been my bedtime card pull, where I would just pull a card before I go to bed and just set it out to look at. And I don't take these card pulls terribly intensely seriously. I don't journal about them. I don't take photos of them necessarily. Sometimes I post them to Instagram, but it's really just to pull a card and have something to think about. I've been using the Tarot of the Mystical Moments for this from about halfway through April. So this is now into like my second, third month of pulling cards from the Tarot of the Mystical Moments. It is so gorgeous, and again, I should probably film a full proper review of this. Again, spoiler alert, I love it. This is one that I got from another friend in our tarot community, Kenneth at Common Hawthorne sent me this one, so I always think of him when I pull this deck out. Excuse me. This is just a fab deck. And again, the cards read really well together. But with this deck, I think the art is so striking that just a single card pull works perfectly well. And it also has got that kind of magical quality that for a deck that's sitting out, very accessible to my daughter. She quite likes looking at the pictures, and you know, because they're kind of magical and astonishing, she might comment on the pictures, or you know, like, look mummy, the person's a bird, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, I'll just tell her that they're imagination, pictures from your imagination, and you know, ask her what she thinks about it. So no, it's beautiful, and it's just the slightest glossy cardstock that I know some people would hate. It's got silver gilding, but I just love how beautifully this deck fans. So that is one that I've been using quite a lot, and you know, I'm probably just going to put this back up in my bedroom again and keep using it because it's just lovely. I really like it. I'm really liking looking at the images at the minute. Okay, so that's tarot and oracle decks. I haven't actually read a huge amount this month. I've got about 7 books started and haven't finished anything. So just one book I thought I'd mention is I've been reading this. So this is a book called This is Motherhood, and it's published by Motherly, which is a website, an American website. And the essays within this are all by different writers, which I think had been, you know, some of them maybe had been blog posts on or posts on the website. I picked this up in a bookshop in Glastonbury, actually. So there's different sections of the book about different parts of motherhood. Like, for example, there's a section on mental load, and then there are chapters like short essays, like the beauty and purpose of monotony is that one in that. No, you're not doing it wrong. What is balance? Anyway, there's some of the essays in that section on the mental load. There are sections on, you know, your relationship with your partner. There are sections on, you know, transitions, about friendship, support, you know, different things to do with motherhood. And some of the essays take different angles on motherhood, and you know, there are lots of different kind of voices and perspectives, which I'm enjoying. And it's not really a self-help book. It's more that the essays in this kind of tap into some of the beauty and the magic and the nice parts of being a mother, as well as sort of, you know, the struggles and the difficulties. But it's more sort of uplifting in its tone, and which I have found quite pleasant to read. I know someone who's expecting at the moment, and I'm going to pass it on to them whenever I've finished reading it, because I think it's a nice sort of positive book for when you might be finding things a bit harder. So anyway, so that's This is Motherhood, which is a collection of essays and reflections. So I'm not finished that yet, but I've been enjoying that quite a lot. The rest of the books I'll talk about next month when I actually finish some of them. So the last thing then in favourites is TV. And oh yeah, I've watched quite a bit of TV this month, which is maybe why I haven't read so much. First thing I want to mention is Heartstopper. Heartstopper is like a teen drama on Netflix. I think I watched it. Oh, it's just lovely. It's a kind of boy meets boy teenage romance, and the characters and the story, it was just the sweetest thing, and it was interesting to watch it from, you know, I realize I'm very much now in the mum generation. I didn't identify with the protagonists at all. I was looking at the characters in the story and thinking, oh, bless, oh, you know, when they talked to their mum, you know, when they had a conversation with their parent in the story, I identified so strongly with the parent. And there was a beautiful scene between one of the protagonists and his mother towards the end of the series, when he sort of came out to his mum and told her about the relationship he was in and stuff. And it was just so beautifully done, and I just cried. You know, just it was a gorgeous show. It's very sweet, very romantic, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. So that was Heartstopper. So hopefully some pictures have been popping up while I'm talking. So that was a really sweet show. Stranger Things, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but I have watched all of Stranger Things before now, so I was really excited to get stuck into season 4. Haven't really liked the way they've released it, like by releasing the first half of the season and then the second half in 2 like massively long episodes. I haven't completely finished yet. I haven't watched that very final long episode yet. But I was really enjoying the first half of the season up until the sort of break in distribution. So I think I would have preferred it if they just made it all episodes of the same length, so that, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter if you're going to watch 2 episodes back to back, 1 2-hour episode versus 2 1-hour episodes. But I guess the shape of the storytelling is a little bit different. Anyway, really enjoying Stranger Things. I just really enjoy the kind of the 80s vibes to it, all the references to kind of 80s horror or, you know, scary movies, and the plot, the body in this season is very effective, I think. So yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. There's so many great characters in Stranger Things, and there's some really effective scenes and so on. So yeah, if you like scary things, but not too scary, because I don't like too scary, Stranger Things is great. I would recommend starting from the beginning though, and don't jump into season 4. And the other TV that I loved was The Time Traveler's Wife, the televised version of The Time Traveler's Wife, which here was available on Sky. I think it's a HBO show or something. I was gutted to find out they've cancelled it and they're not going to make season 2. Really disappointed. The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger is one of my favourite books of all time. I've read it like 4 or 5 times. I love that book. And the film, while I really liked the casting of Rachel McAdams and Eric Bana as the main characters, I didn't enjoy the scripting and the direction, the overall sort of tone of the movie. I thought they made it too sweet and romantic and not gritty enough. And the TV show, again, they didn't go as far as I would have liked in terms of reflecting the way the book is, but I think they did a lot better job in terms of the scripting, and they changed a few things, which, you know, like anybody who loves a book, you don't like it when they change things. But the casting, the 2 actors who were playing Henry and Claire, I really liked both of them. And the sort of the overall tone and the way they've like intermingled the different time periods in the story, and like some of the side characters, which really didn't get developed very much in the film, were more involved in the TV show. I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm just really annoyed because it's only the first like half of the story, if even that was in season 1. And so we didn't get to see the whole story play out. And because they cancelled it, I hate it when America cancels shows that I like. I'm thinking about Firefly in particular. Hands up if you're still gutted that Firefly was cancelled. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on now and say farewell for now. But look, if you've come back and watched this video, thank you so much for being here, and really enjoy our chats in the comments. So please do comment below. I really appreciate it, especially considering how little I've been posting videos recently. If you've come back and watched my video, my favourites, thank you very much. So hopefully more tarot content coming up over the summer months, because I've got a bit more free time. And I'll see you again soon. Slán!